Hey guys, I'm sitting here at Blake's coffee shop with Miss Reeselyn McNeil, and I can't wait to get into it with her today. We've been sitting here talking. She's been sharing her heart, and it is so lovely. You're going to love everything she has to say. She is so full of wisdom, and yeah, it's going to be good. But before we get started, I just want to say welcome. Welcome to Unshakable, faith talk for teen girls in a noisy world. This is a space just for girls who want faith to feel real. If you're trying to follow God while also just figuring out life, you're in the right place. I'm Hannah, and I've been there. We're going to talk about how to walk with God even when life feels messy. So relax. You don't have to have it all together here. We certainly do not. I want you to get comfortable, grab yourself a coffee, and let's get into today's episode. All right, Reeselyn, I want you to start off by giving us your highlight reel. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so like Hannah said, my name is Reeselyn McNeil. I just recently graduated from Durant High School this past May. I am 18 years old. I am headed to college in the fall to Shawnee, Oklahoma at Oklahoma Baptist University. I love to sing, worship, choir, musicals, all the things where you use your voice. I'm very family oriented. Those are my best friends. And those are all the great things about me.
I love it that you sing. You lead worship on Wednesday nights a lot of times for the youth group. I love that so much because I always wish that I could sing. Like ever since I was a little girl, I wish I could sing, and I can't. It's not good. But I love that about you. You do a great job leading, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your plans now that you're graduating. You said you're going to OBU. Tell me all about that.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to OBU to study theology and ministry, and I'm hoping to go into some kind of full-time ministry, whether that's camp, children's, youth, any capacity, even maybe worship. I'm going to minor in worship studies as well.
So that's awesome. That
I'm
sounds
really
like
excited.
so much fun. So we were talking earlier that you go to Super Summer every summer, which is a camp on their campus. So did that have any part in like the reason why you want to go, like just experiencing campus and meeting people?
Okay, actually, yes. I fell in love with their campus while staying there for Super Summer because we get to stay in the dorm, and just at Super Summer, you get to go to all the different buildings for different breakouts and lessons and stuff, and I just loved every part of it, and they have Chick-fil-A, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And they would advertise OBU. It's kind of a partnership, so once I started thinking ministry, I started thinking more OBU because that was already exposed to me.
Yeah.
So I actually loved it so much, I got to film a promo video at Super Summer for OBU.
Oh,
so
that's
it was
cool.
really cool.
Aww,
Yeah.
I love that. And it's not super far away, so when you miss family, miss friends, you get to come back and visit for
Far
weekends.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I love that. So you just graduated. What is your favorite high school memory?
Oh, my favorite high school memory would probably have to be my junior year. During our fall musical, I got to play the lead. It was Camp Rock, and I got to be Mitchie Torres.
Oh, I didn't even go. I should have
Yes.
gone.
It was so much fun, and Mitchie's kind of a lot like me, very type A and stuff. And that was my first big lead, and I just really got to flourish and be myself, so it was awesome.
That sounds so fun. Okay, you just mentioned your type A. Tell me about that. Like, what does that look like in your life? I'm just curious.
Okay, so here's the story that kind of encapsulates it. I'm a lot like my dad.
Okay.
And he's very type A, OCD organized. When I was wanting to visit
Can I just stop you right there just for a second?
Yes.
I've seen the grocery list. I saw him at Walmart one day and I saw the grocery list. It's incredible. For you guys that don't know, it's like typed out on printer paper. It's insane. I love
And
it.
it's updated too.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It works really well too. I actually do grocery lists myself now. So
Cool.
when I was thinking about visiting OBU, I kept on my dad my junior year. I want to go visit. Let's go visit during the spring semester. And, he's a pastor. He does all types of stuff. So he just kind of wasn't getting around to it. So I scheduled my own visit. And I texted the family a formal text that said, hey, we're going to go on January 9th. If you're in, let me know. And so
That is
just kind of
awesome.
encapsulates
I love
some of
that.
it. Yeah.
I love that. But that's awesome. Taking control of your own life. I mean, some students have trouble with that. Like
Definitely.
their parents have always taken care of them and they get to college and it's a little rough, but it sounds like you're ready.
I'm very hyper independent.
Yeah.
I've learned that about myself.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Okay. I want to know, so we were talking before we got started about one of my favorite artists and just how much I love music, and so does she. I want to know, what is your current favorite song? Do you have like a current favorite or favorite band even?
Okay, so at Super Summer, actually, the worship was really, really good. And there's a song called Thank God I'm Free. I think it's by Elevation Worship, but it's just really good. Just straight gospel, and it like really brings me to gratitude literally some of the lyrics are just, thank God I'm free. And I'm just so thankful that I am free and I do get to live this life. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so getting a little bit more serious,
Okay.
I want to know, because I heard you speak at youth group a few weeks ago. You were kind of sharing some wisdom. What did high school teach you about yourself?
Okay, so high school taught me that I'm okay being alone. I've had a few lonely seasons throughout, especially my junior and senior year. But it taught me that I'm okay with that. And it's really easy to just rest in the Lord when you're by yourself and to focus on some of your priorities and more serious aspects of life. It also taught me, like I said, I'm very independent, so that kind of goes with being alone. But it taught me that sometimes you don't always get reciprocated what you give. That's something that was hard for me to learn because with forgiveness especially, that's another thing I learned is I am very forgiving and sometimes a little bit too forgiving. I forgive people really easily because I believe that if I've been given a second chance by the Lord, I should share that grace with others. But it's hard to forgive people and to see the actions repeat. So those are definitely the highlights.
Yeah. So like maybe learning discernment there, like forgive, but maybe also keep it in the back of your mind, like what's safe, what's not. Yeah. Yeah.
That was something that I started to put more to action during my senior year. So
yeah. Well, very good. I feel like you've learned so much. I love having you here. I love visiting with you. Okay, so how did graduating high school feel? Was it exciting, scary, what?
It was actually all exciting. I thought I would feel some type of way, but I was really happy. It didn't, like, I knew it was a big milestone, but it was weird. It didn't, like, I didn't get this crazy feeling. I was just like, okay, got my diploma. It's probably going to sit on a shelf, and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
So I was definitely more excited. I think I'll get scared when the next chapter approaches.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I can tell that you're very future, like current and future oriented. You're not somebody who's always looking back and reminiscing, and you're like ready for the next thing.
Yeah, I reminisce some, but I very much am a plan ahead person. So I look ahead a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so the day after your graduation, you didn't feel like everything's new. It's a brand new chapter. It was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, so the day after my graduation, I was flying to New York.
Oh, so you were busy focused on that.
It was definitely exhilarating. I was like, you know what? This is exciting. I'm graduating. I'm going to New York City where I've always wanted to go. So it definitely did feel nice. I like to make jokes like, oh, back in high school but it really does feel like that. I talk about like friends in high school. It really does feel like a past tense thing that I've overcame. So
please keep saying that. I love that so much because I say back in my day and my kids make fun of me. But actually, I do have one daughter who started doing it. She's in college right now. And she will refer back to like elementary school or high school and be like, back in my day. It makes me so happy.
That's really how I feel.
That's awesome. Do you ever feel pressure to have your entire future figured out?
Definitely. As someone who's a planner very much, I do. I also know people who don't like to plan also have pressure. That's the thing of senior year. The main question you're going to get asked is, oh, where are you headed next? Or what are you going to study? What's your career going to be? So that was something that was pressing, but honestly, it's not asked as much as you would think. It is asked a lot, but like people are going to be okay with just, I don't know yet. And that was something that was hard for me, but getting my call to ministry so early in life, it was December after my 8th grade year.
Oh, wow.
Yes, very early.
Nice.
It kind of, the Lord allowed me to plan. I thought he was going to hold out on me, but he kind of threw me a bone. So definitely pressure. I've had pressure since freshman year to have it figured out just because I'm such a planner. But
maybe it's more like you putting the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Gotcha.
My parents are amazing. They've never really pressured me like you need to figure out. My older sister, she didn't have it completely figured out till her second semester, and she did fine.
Yeah.
And she does big girl job. She's on a mission trip right now, 6 weeks. So
that's so cool.
It's something that seems really big at the time, but it ends up being really small in the future when you look back.
Yeah. And it's crazy how many adults you ask and they say, oh, I'm still trying to figure things out. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
Or like you change your major several times in college. Like that's a possibility and that can happen and people can still graduate on time. So I don't think that it's I think that it's stressful sometimes, but I don't think that it's as big of a burden as it needs to be.
Yeah, that's good. I changed my major every semester while I was going through gen ed, like in my mind anyway. Yeah,
Right.
it was crazy. So a lot of girls struggle with meaningful friendships. I know in high school that's a really big thing. What did you look for in a friendship?
So I struggled a lot with friendships throughout high school, believe it or not. I think it's just a girl thing.
And I just think you're so lovable, but yeah.
It was
I know,
really
high
hard for
school's
me.
rough.
Yeah. I look for definitely people who are following the Lord, but also holding me accountable and people that want to talk about Jesus with me. That's something that has been kind of not there for me all the way. I have a family who I can talk about Jesus with, but having friends, most of my friends who want to talk with me, they'll live far away, or people that are more supportive. I definitely look for supportive friends too.
Yeah.
Especially with my music. I love when I get to see people I know in the crowd. I look for people that are uplifting with their words. That's a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
One wrong thing said, it'll send me thinking and thinking and thinking, and I hate
Yeah, for real.
feeling like somebody's upset with me. Definitely those things. And patience in a friend.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something I've worked on throughout high school too. If somebody's not patient, it's going to be hard to have a friendship with them. So
I feel like I've seen some different shifts. What do you feel like as far as in high school right now? Are girls quick to compliment, or is it like, how do you feel they are with their words towards each other right now?
Okay, so it kind of depends. I have been around a lot of girls, like even throughout middle school, like that would be very complimentary to me, like random people. And I've tried to reciprocate that because, like pass it on to the next person. So that's really nice to be around some of those people. But I think that when you get to more your close circles, or what I experienced, it's a little bit, can be, what's the word? Not the opposite of uplifting, like being talked down to. I think that can happen sometimes too when you get in like a stressful environment, or if you're all doing the same activities, things like that. But
yeah,
I think that there's been a shift in more girls supporting girls kind of thing.
I kind of feel that too, but I have also heard that there's like there's a fake aspect to the support.
That's
and I'm like,
still there.
But wait, it looks sincere to me.
Yeah.
I want to believe it's sincere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have struggled with that, wanting to think people are sincere, and then they prove me wrong several times. So
yeah, no, I totally get that. I always want to see the best in people. And I've actually told people, don't tell me anything. Don't gossip to me. Don't tell me anything. I want to keep thinking the best about that person.
Right.
Don't mess me up.
Yes.
Okay. So you've told me what you look for in a friend. How do you become a good friend?
Ooh, that's a good question. Number one is having a heart for Jesus. When you follow the things that he has set out for you, and when you're in your word and trying to practice the fruits of the Spirit, those things will naturally pour out of you. But also just being uplifting to your friends. That's like a huge thing that I've had to learn. I have a short temper. That's something that's like one of my biggest flaws.
No
I don't
way.
like to talk about it. Yeah, I do have a short temper, and it's kind of a genetic thing. But when I start to get frustrated, sometimes I can say things that I don't mean. And that's something I've had to learn, is to just take a deep breath, be patient. Sometimes don't have to say anything at all. But just to be uplifting to your friends, and to be empathetic with them too. That's a big thing when they're going through something.
Yeah.
Just to be there, even if they're doing things you don't condone. I've had a couple friends that have done things that I haven't condoned, but I've stuck by them. And it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. So
yeah. I mean, that's what Jesus did. That's what he modeled, right? He didn't run from people that were far from God, because he'd run away from all of us.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Have you ever been left out? And if so, how do you handle that feeling? Because I know that's a real thing in high school.
So I've been left out actually a lot throughout high school. It's been for like various reasons. Before I wasn't indulging in some of the same things that the people around me were. So I was left out, but I was okay in that. It actually gave me more anxiety that the people I was close with were doing those things, that it would fall onto me. So it didn't bother me being left out then. But this past senior year actually has been pretty rough for me. But I've been left out a lot. I feel like people just kind of put me on the back burner sometimes. And that's hard to deal with. And that is what makes me appreciate my family so much because I am never left out around them. And when I'm home, we
so
can all be
good.
together. And
Yeah.
my parents are like my therapists and parents all in one. They are really good to me.
That's great.
They're there for me and can make me feel better when those things happen.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just thinking, like, what if somebody doesn't have the type of supportive family that you have, and they have those feelings of being left out? What advice would you give to a girl in that situation?
I would probably tell them to pray. Prayer is like one of the biggest ways for me to really feel close to God. I feel really close to God when I'm really intentional and praying to Him and just into the right things, my music, my Bible. And I would say find some leaders in your church that can kind of, they don't have to be parental figures to you, but that you can lean on, and adults that are wise and have gone through some of the same things.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I'm thinking back to whenever I was in high school and like, how would I use your advice?
Right.
I was so shy. I didn't reach out to anybody, but yeah, I should have. So I just want to say for any girl listening that's really shy, do what Reeselyn said, be bold, reach out, because there are plenty of adults that love you and that will support you.
Or like underclassmen, there's plenty of upperclassmen. And if you get plugged in a church, you can find a lot of girls.
Yeah, yeah. And don't be afraid to just go up to somebody and say, hi, I've seen you in youth group.
Yeah.
What's up? So do you recognize any red flags in friendships now that you wish younger girls would recognize earlier?
Ooh, okay. This one is one that I didn't see as a red flag when I started high school, but as it progressed, probably my sophomore year, junior year, it became a huge conviction of mine, is gossip. If somebody is talking about their other friends to you, they're probably talking about you to their other friends, or if they're just talking about people in general in a negative context. You can talk about people in an uplifting way all you want. If you're being like, oh, that person's outfit's cool, I think that's so cool what they did, their heart. But when you're talking about people in a negative context and you hear that a lot from a friend, I don't think that's a friend to you. And that's something I've also struggled with, is being left out. Sometimes it's okay for me because I know that there's a lot of gossip happening where I'm not at. So yeah, that's hard.
That's really smart. And I feel like that's something that you just like, that's really good wisdom. It's not something that you just always think about.
Right.
Like,
it's hard to come to terms with because I used to be one to gossip pretty often in high school. And I kick myself for it now, but it's something that I had to learn because I feel like it's not talked about as much.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I just want to say that one more time because that was so good. You said if they're talking to you about other people, they're probably talking to other people about you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good to remember. So I'm curious, what helped your faith become real to you? Because I feel like we all have just like a pivotal moment or season.
I would say, okay, so when my current youth pastor got here, his name's Sebastian. He is awesome. He came here in the spring of 2024, and he started our leadership team, and I was one of the first people on his leadership team, and I still am now. Cool. But just being pushed to serve more and getting more opportunities. I was always willing, but I didn't have a ton of opportunities. I think serving the church and getting involved with more people and all different areas of the church has really like made me be like, it's outpoured more of my faith. I guess pouring out my cup and being able to refill it has been really good. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that. I'm not super familiar with that. It's a leadership team of like high school students that he created?
It can be middle school too.
Okay.
So we have some middle schoolers and some high schoolers, and we like assign people for slides on Wednesday nights, for sound, for the camera, people on the prayer team. That's through our leadership team.
Okay.
The worship is just kind of like most of us are on the leadership team, so he'll ask. We serve at the Barnabas Dinner. That's the widow and widowers dinner, and that's really cool. It's like a lunch. It's not a dinner. Okay. It's a lunch. We just do a lot of different things. Some of us went to kids camp this past 2 weeks ago, maybe, and we do 2 halves of kids camp at church, so we got to serve with that too.
Okay. So I see what you're saying about getting to be with different people of different ages and just getting to do all kinds of different things. That's really cool. I love that. So I know for you personally, you grew up in a Christian home. Did that make it harder or easier to develop your own faith?
I would say it's a little bit of both. The hardest thing about developing your own faith coming out of a Christian household is making it your own. The first time I heard making your faith your own, I was like, oh, it really kind of rocked me because I was like, I have been poured into by my parents my whole life, and the church and the people who raised me up in kids ministry and youth ministry. And so that was also part of making my faith real, is making it my own. And things between me and the Lord that is not through my parents, through my youth pastor, through my kids minister, whoever it was, just like taking up my own problems with the Lord and my own joys with the Lord, just anything really.
Yeah. So you got such a supportive family. Was it hard? Like, because I can see if you didn't have that type of home, how it would lead you toward God. But having so much support, how did you feel your need for Jesus?
That's a good question. I would say it also comes from my dad being so supportive. Like, he is kind of an accountability partner with me too. He'd be like, I'd come home and I'd be really upset. I'd be like, this happened with my friends. That actually happened a lot. And it's not just like, I had several good friends in high school, but the group, it's just hard to be around a lot of people. So my dad would just say, hey, have you talked to Jesus about it? I'd be like, no, Dad.
Your dad's the coolest. I love your dad.
He is so cool. I'd be like, Dad, no, I haven't. I'll do it later. And he'd be like, no, go to your room and just be by yourself for a little bit. And, he always ended up being right. But,
Yeah.
So,
but also, like, for your dad, it's not like in a condemning sort of way. It's not in a, have you talked to Jesus about it? No, but he's just so like, have you talked to Jesus about it?
He's definitely like probably the coolest person I know ever. So,
oh, that's so sweet. I love to hear you say that. We'll have to share that clip with them. Was it hard to keep your faith strong in high school? I know we've kind of skirted around this question.
Yes. My sophomore, I went through some phases in high school and like in my younger years too. My sophomore year, I remember being a hard year. One of the biggest problems I had throughout high school was swear words. My sophomore year was probably some of the height of that. So that was a big conviction of mine that I struggled with. And then some of like being judgmental kind of. So when you're on the other side of things, it's hard not to judge and to just kind of be more kind to those people. Yeah, so that's hard too. So like when I talk about my friend situation, I definitely wasn't innocent at times too.
And just being in a public high school, you're around so many different types of people with different backgrounds, different beliefs, different everything.
And it's hard to share too. So yeah, it was definitely hard, but the past 2 years, junior year was really hard on me. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I started taking medicine for that. A lot of people, when I tell them that, they're like, really, huh? Because I'm just kind of a ball of sunshine most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's a very real thing, and I also had to fight the spiritual warfare side. So it was definitely hard, but the Lord really worked it out, especially during my senior year. I was really close with the Lord, and my faith was pretty strong, and I got to share the gospel a lot. So
that's so good. And I'm so glad to hear you talk about that openly because, I mean, I've struggled with it too. I know so many people that have. Right. And I don't think you would look at me and go, oh, yeah, I can tell she's depressed. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you never know. When you're walking through those halls at high school, you never know what people are going through because it doesn't always show up on their face.
Yeah. That's another thing is like when you don't know what somebody's going through, you have no right to kind of say anything or judge them. So that was something that when I went through it, it really resonated with me. But even before, I just feel like, we don't know the kind of day they had today.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. That is really wise. So you had kind of mentioned just briefly like about sharing. Did you ever feel embarrassed to talk about God?
Honestly, I have not. I haven't really had an experience like that yet. Sometimes when it comes out of my mouth, sometimes I have an internal feeling they think I'm crazy because it doesn't feel crazy to me because God is so real and so there with me because I follow him, but it's hard for people who don't to hear that. But I had several gospel conversations in one of my math classes at senior year, and it never really felt embarrassing or I was never really ashamed. I was just able to openly talk, and the people I talked to actually responded, and I got to see a couple of them get baptized.
Oh,
so that
that's
was
so
really
cool.
And you don't get to see that very often.
Yeah.
So one of them I didn't get to see that, and I didn't get to see any kind of like change, but I know that the seed was planted. So
yeah, for sure.
That's something I can rest with. But I was not always unashamed. In junior high, I had a moment where somebody asked me what was on my shirt, and it was the lyrics of Waymaker. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this song right now. It was newer at the time. And I was telling them these are like names of Jesus and all these things, and they laughed in my face. And I remember going home that day and being so upset. And I was more frustrated than anything. I was like, God, like I want them to know about God. And so it definitely wasn't easy, but the more you do it, the better it gets.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I can just tell, like you've experienced his goodness and you just want that for people.
Absolutely.
But for people that haven't experienced that and they don't know that, they don't even know it's an out there. They don't even know it's an option. I can see how it'd be really frustrating. Like, I want you to know this. I want you to hear this. I want you to feel this like I do.
And also with like friendships in high school, something that occurred to me is you can't hold people to the standard of Christianity when some of them don't even have the joy of Christ that you do. And that's one thing. Several of my like close friends got saved throughout our sophomore, junior year, and our friendships have gotten a lot better because of that.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Very cool. So what has helped you stay grounded? You know, sometimes life gets really overwhelming, especially when you're so busy in different activities and things. What helps you stay grounded?
I would say music. Worship music. If I turn on worship music in the car, I definitely go into an environment more peaceful. And when I'm praying to the Lord for specific things and just like knowing that his hand is over my life, that definitely helps me stay grounded and to stop and look at the big picture. That's something that's been huge for me because I freak out at the little things sometimes.
That's relatable.
It actually
that's
happens
not crazy
very often. And just stopping and looking at the big picture. That's another thing my dad taught me. Just to look like, hey, this is here. And when I zoom out, it's very, very small compared to everything else that is to come and that has happened. So yeah. That's good. And I love to hear you talk so much about worship music because I did an episode a couple of weeks ago just about how much I love my playlist. And I've curated this playlist of these songs that just lead me into his presence. And like each one just reminds me of a different thing and just gets me in the right headspace. And first thing I do in the mornings, I get up, I go to the gym. And so I'm listening to my playlist on the way to the gym and it just sets the day right. Yeah. That's cool. I love that. So what did you learn about identity in high school? Big thing I learned was my identity is not found in how good I am at what I do. My freshman year, I auditioned for this honor choir. It's called All State. So like you see people make an All State football team. It's kind of the same with an honor choir. And I had made it my 7th and my 8th grade year. And if you make it 3 years in a row, you get what's called a 3-year medal. So I auditioned my 9th grade year and I didn't make it. I got sick. No way. I lost my voice. And it was really hard for me because I was like, oh, this is not who I am all the time. But I had to remember, like, that's not what I'm defined by. And that was a huge lesson for me. And it really humbled me, honestly, too, because especially in the arts, you can kind of get a high horse sometimes when you're excelling at what you're doing. But I was able to get a 3-year medal this past year, my senior year. And it meant all the more to me because I worked hard for it. And I remembered that whatever happens, it's in the Lord's hands. And I'm not like, what's the word? Oh, I'm not defined by it. Yes. I'm not defined. That's good. Yes. Yeah. So I feel like that was really unfortunate, but look at the way God used it in your life and what he taught you through it. And I wouldn't change a thing about it. Yeah. So. That's good.
So we've already been talking for a really long time, and I've only asked you half the things I want to know about you. So I guess we'll have to wrap this up here in a few minutes. I do want to ask you a few more things, and then maybe we can talk again some other time.
Okay.
Okay. So I do want to know. Uh, so was there a moment that God felt especially real to you during high school? Or you may have had multiple moments, but would you share a moment where it just, like you just knew it was Him?
Okay. So spring break of my junior year, we were at Mobile Missions for a mission trip. And we were doing this thing called the Moses chair prayer. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
No.
it's the story in the Bible where Moses holds up the staff to keep his people winning.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that, but you have other people hold up your hands and they pray over you. And it was really, really powerful. And our church did it. And I was like sitting there like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm probably going to get emotional. And then finally, Sebastian goes, last call. And he waits for like 30 seconds. I go, fine, do it. And I had two of my best friends holding me. And it was just really powerful. And I felt the Lord in that moment. Like, I have people around me to support me. And like, it was like the Lord's hand was on my shoulder for a moment. It was really, really cool.
That's so cool.
Yes.
I love that. So is there anything that God has been teaching you? Like, what has God been teaching you lately?
Lately, God has been teaching me gratitude. Ever since I graduated high school, which was about 2 weeks ago, I've had a very big heart of gratitude because I'm so excited to be done with it.
Yeah.
But just like we sang the song Gratitude at the camp I was at last week, Super Summer, and I really like fully was able to wholeheartedly sing those words. And it was really, really powerful just to see it pour out of me and not just be a thought, but to be an action in my heart.
Yeah. Are you talking about Brandon Lake's song?
Yes.
I love that song.
Yes.
That is a really good one.
And I've always kind of been like, it's kind of overplayed, but it really, really, really resonated this past time and really sunk in.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have, I want to know. I'm looking at all my questions going, what else do I want to know? Real quick. What's your favorite scripture and why? What does it mean to you?
Ooh, okay. My favorite, it's kind of changed some. My favorite right now is going to be Ephesians 2:10. It says, "For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus, in good works which God prepared beforehand so that we should walk in Him." And just knowing that I am God's works and what I do is a overflow of what He's done is really important, especially knowing that I'm going into the next season of life to follow the calling He's given me and that He's already planned this out and has it ready for me. So that verse has really been my favorite.
So if you could go back, what would you tell your high school self?
I would tell myself, buckle up. It's going to be a fast and long and crazy 4 years all at once. But I would say to lean into the people who are good and that you see be good consistently. And I would say to don't be afraid to hold those around you accountable in a loving, kind heart and be compassionate with them and allow people in your life to do the same.
That's really good.
And be bold with your faith.
So we were talking about that at our table group just last Wednesday about how to hold people accountable, but in a loving way. So how do you do that? Do you have any practical advice for that?
Okay, yeah. So I have experienced this several times where I would try to hold somebody accountable. They'd be like, well, you did this last week. And I'd be like, well, can't fight that. But just going to someone, and it might be the tone of voice too, just being like, hey, because I love you, I wanted to tell you I've noticed like a pattern of this, or I saw you doing this and I know that's not who you are and not what you stand for, and hoping that they take it in a good way. I had a friend who went through a rough senior year and she was just going through a lot of things and struggling with some sin, and I would tell her like, this is not who you are. This is not who you want to be either.
That's so good.
And she'd be like, yeah, like you're right, but I don't know how to. So just praying over the conversation too is hard, and in-person accountability. I would never, this is something I also learned throughout high school, don't text people when you're trying to like solve an issue unless you're trying to apologize to somebody.
Yeah.
You can never see somebody's tone of voice. You can never hear their heart. So definitely in-person accountability. And I'm saying, hey, I noticed you did this, so maybe kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so in the back of my head right now, I asked you the question, but the words holding somebody accountable, they just they feel harsh. But what, so for the girl listening that maybe doesn't even understand what that means, what is the heart behind that? Why should we help hold our friends accountable?
Okay. So I believe we hold each other accountable because if we're Christians, we want to see each other following Jesus with all of our hearts. And if there's a blip in the road, we need to keep each other aware of that. And it's really to build each other up and to be like, hey, I noticed
Absolutely.
you're going through
Yes.
this. Let me help you.
Yes.
That's just
it's not to tear somebody down.
Exactly.
Right.
It's really to lift one another's up, and it's for their greater good and the outcome of whatever's happening.
Yeah.
So the outcome of it is their walk with Christ is going to hopefully be better, and you are going to try to follow them and be inspired by whatever they do.
Yeah. And I loved what you said about you tell your friends, this isn't who you are. Because sometimes, I mean, I know for me in my own life, it's hard to see. In there, the verse in the Bible, it says it's hard to see the speck. You can't call it the speck in your neighbor's eye because what is it? I'm not getting it right.
How do you notice the speck in your neighbor's eye but not the log in yours?
Yes. Sometimes it's really hard.
Matthew 7:4.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. But it really is. It's hard to see sometimes things in our own life. And sometimes things just progress so slowly that we don't realize that we've gotten to this place that's not good for us. And so to have somebody to see it and to love you enough to be able to say that to you, I think is really important. So I love that you say that. Owning your actions
so that you don't look like a hypocrite. Yeah. We all are, but try your best not to be.
Yeah, but we try, right? That's the thing. Okay, so as we wrap up, I want to know, is there anything else that you want to say to the younger girl listening right now, either maybe in junior high or in high school? What is there one thing that you would want to say to her?
I would say boys aren't important right now, and
that's good.
Your friends are going to shape who you are in the long run. So pick wisely and champion them and hope they do the same.
That's really good. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing this big sister talk. Yes. I loved it so much.
Thanks for having me.
If this episode encouraged you, I hope you'll take some time to sit with what stood out, pray about it, and talk it through with an adult, youth leader, parent, somebody that you trust. Please follow or subscribe. It really does help this episode reach more people like you. It also notifies you each time a new episode drops, so you never miss a thing. I truly have you in mind as I create each episode, and I want you to hear them all. Just a reminder, this podcast is here to encourage you and point you back to God's Word. Don't take my word for it. Check out the scriptures for yourself and ask God to show you truth. Thank you for spending this time with us today. I'm really proud of you for showing up, listening, and growing. I'll talk to you next time. Until then, remember, you are known, you are loved, and God is creating an incredible story through your life, even the messy parts.